friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about a brand new collection that has just been revealed from Lethal Cosmetics. This is another huge collaboration for them. Last year we got the Avatar The Last Airbender collection, which I think was really beautifully done. I really enjoyed a lot of the pieces from that Avatar collection, and in fact, one of the palettes from that collaboration was in my best palettes of the year video. So although the Lethal Cosmetics brand isn't really well known for their collaborations as much as other brands who do a lot of IP collabs like ColourPop or Glamlight, I think their track record is really quite good. So I think we're all going to have quite high expectations for another big collaboration like this, especially because this is an IP that I don't think has had a makeup collaboration before. Correct me if I'm wrong, because while I do look at a lot of makeup things, I definitely don't see everything. So maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that this is the first ever makeup collaboration for the Showtime show Dexter. Now, does this seem like a weird makeup collaboration? Not to me, but we've seen Hot Cheetos, everything, so honestly, why not a serial killer show? You know what I mean? I have watched the Dexter series in its entirety, but I watched it when it was first coming out many moons ago. I know it was more than 10 years ago because it was before my kid was born. I can't really watch that type of content anymore because my anxiety is just way higher than it used to be in my 20s. So I did enjoy the show quite a lot. I have seen the entire series and I thought it was well done. While it's not the type of thing that I want to watch nowadays, I will still consider myself a fan of the show. So I think this is a very interesting collaboration. I think they did make some really clever choices. So I want to show you all of the pieces in this collection close up. I'll show you swatches. I'll show you all the pieces in action as well. I have two different eye looks with this super interesting palette. Here's a look at the palette. There's also a liquid highlighter in this collection. We have 2 lip oils, 2 lip stains, so 4 lip products in total. And then this brush set, a bunch of beautiful makeup brushes inside. So you'll get to see almost every single thing in action. I didn't use every single brush, and I think there's only 2 shadows in the palette that I didn't use. But for the most part, you're going to get a really in-depth look at this Dexter collection. Let's dig into these products one by one. I want to start with the Luminol liquid highlighter. This is the Luminol liquid highlighter. It's priced at 23 US dollars. And I think that this is one example of the very many clever references that they took from the show and turned it into a makeup product. Because if you haven't seen the show, the main character Dexter is a blood splatter analyst. So as he's looking at a crime scene, he would use luminol to spray around the crime scene and illuminate the blood. And when luminol is in contact with blood and then exposed to a black light, maybe UV light, I don't know. I'm not a crime scene analyst, but it shows up as blue when blood reacts with luminol. And this is a transparent base liquid highlighter with this minty blue shift. This is just so tongue-in-cheek funny and also a really cool product on top of that. It is a bit glittery once it's applied to the skin, so it's not necessarily my perfect highlighter, but I know that a lot of people are going to like the look of this luminol highlighter, and I think it's really a cool product. Definitely makes sense, as does the Kill Tools brush set. This is a 10-piece brush set priced at 49 US dollars, and it's designed to look like Dexter's kill tools. He has like a knife roll that looks like this, and then these brushes have a silvery ferrule, and they are also pointy, so they kind of have knife vibes. Definitely a bit of dark humor running throughout this collection, which I appreciate. I could see how it's not everybody's jam, but I think that approach works really well for this collection. And personally, I'm a big fan of these brushes. They are synthetic fiber, they're completely vegan, they're super duper soft bristles. I've enjoyed the previous Lethal Cosmetics brushes that I've tried, so I knew that I was going to like these. I've used quite a few of the brushes, and you'll get to see me using them for different parts of my face and eye makeup throughout this review. I'll just show you some clips of me using these different brushes. They're really lightweight. They have these black and red bristles, which I think are really cool. And in general, I will say the brush roll is probably my favorite item from this whole collection. The silver ferrules do get kind of dirty. They get some fingerprints here and there. That's not a deal breaker for me at all. I'm going to be getting all of my makeup brushes dirty, so I don't care too much about that, but in a review, we have to be a little bit picky. And I used this medium-sized dense domed brush to apply some cream blush. This is the Sigma Cordarosa blush, and this worked beautifully, blended in super easily, and I knew from there on that these brushes were going to work well for me. One thing that didn't work well for me was the pump component on the highlighter. I've messaged the brand because I feel like mine might be missing a piece. I was trying and trying and trying. Sometimes it takes a minute for the pumps to get going, but it seems like mine might be missing a little downspout tubey thingy. I don't know. Maybe this is user error. I really did try my best. I tried like turning it all the way upside down. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But I decided to just take some of the liquid highlighter out of the bottle and just tap it onto my cheeks with my fingertips. It was very, very easy to apply, blended out easily, didn't disrupt my blush or my foundation underneath. And like I said, this more glitter particle type of highlighter isn't my personal preference. It's not my personal favorite. However, I think that this is very cool in the context of the collection. I know a lot of people do like a more sparkly cheekbone highlight, so I don't have a problem with it existing. It's just not going to be my go-to texture. However, from far away, when you can't really see the little glitter particles, the blue shift is super beautiful. Even though it's not my go-to, I ended up actually really liking it. I did use another one of the brushes to add a little bit of a powdered blush on top. And then I did a little bit of face powdering. I held off on my face powder until after I applied my liquid products. Now that my face is finished, let's talk about the lip products in this collection. There are two lip oils that are priced at $14.50 a piece. I don't notice any fragrance on the lip oils. The lip stain has a little bit of a artificial cherry type of scent to my nose. I am not somebody who is very sensitive to fragrance in my makeup, and I actually quite enjoy having different fragrances and scents and flavors and things. So I'm not bothered by the artificial cherry scent in the lip stain. However, if you are somebody that doesn't love a fragrance makeup, you may want to veer more towards the lip oils since they seem to be unscented, at least to my nose. I don't necessarily think that you need both. At the end of the day, they both end up looking pretty much just clear with a hint of sparkly on my lips. They're not exactly the same. I mean, I really tried to build this one up to get a little bit of that black lip oil to show, but it's not really noticeable on me in my opinion, and I wouldn't wear this much in my day-to-day life anyway. So just one swipe still looks pretty clear. If you want to be able to see that black lip oil, you really got to build it up, and that's just not something that I'm going to do. Plus, it's a lip oil. It's not going to remain on your lips in that opacity for very long. Hopefully that made sense. I do really like the evidence collection vial style on these lip products. I think that's really cute. It's really clever. I love that they just went for it and did basically two red blood looking lip stains. These are $14 a piece, and I really like the more berry red shade. The one called Dark Passenger is my personal favorite. It's the one that I'm wearing throughout the talking portions of the video with the darker lip oil on top. And when I say that these stain, these really stain, which is a good thing. That's what you want from a lip stain. It's in the name. So I will say that that swatch stain that I showed you on my hand, first of all, it's still a little tiny bit visible even today, which is not the day that I filmed those swatches. And the staining that I showed you was after I had scrubbed that with a makeup remover and a cleansing oil. So these have some serious staying power. I love this gorgeous deep berry shade. I think it's going to look great on so many different people. And I love the way that it looked with both of the different eye looks that I created. So, Dark Passenger Lip Stain is my other top favorite, in addition to the brush set. Just for the heck of it, I decided to put some of the lip oil on top of the lip stain, and I think it looks really pretty, but it definitely caused some patchiness as the day went on, but I still think it looks good. I think that messy stain look on the lips is kind of a vibe right now. It's definitely something we've seen trending more. So, hey, it's not going to be my go-to lip look, but I think it looks cool and makes sense with the collection. And we're here to experiment, try something new. It's just makeup. You can try something that you don't love and it just wipes right off. Now let's talk about the Dexter palette. This is really the crown jewel of the collection, in my opinion. This is priced at 54 US dollars. It has 11 shades, and the packaging is designed to look like the box that Dexter keeps his blood slides in the show. This is super unique palette packaging. Definitely not my day-to-day favorite, not my favorite type of thing to store or to travel with, but this is more of a showpiece. This is really something that if you love the show, you're going to want this to be out on your vanity anyway. So it's not going to be the most fun thing to find a drawer for, but it will be the most fun thing to display proudly on your vanity or on your makeup shelf. So it's not my preferred type of packaging, but I get the reasoning. It's not just done frivolously or thoughtlessly. So I'm not mad at it, even though it's not my personal preference. Because these 11 shades are really split into two halves, we had that blood splatter looking shade in the center. That's really, in my mind, like the quote unquote 11th shade. And then we have six more red focused shades to the left, and then six more gray, vampy, deep dark smoky shades to the right. So I'm gonna do one deep dark smoky vampy eye and one really, really red forward eye. That way I can get a true taste of what this palette has to offer. And I love a really vampy, smoky gray and silver type of eye look. So it's probably no surprise that this is my personal favorite look of the two. Before I forget, I want to mention that the Lethal Cosmetics official YouTube channel posted their reveal video today, and there's also some nail polish in this collection. I don't have that. It wasn't in the PR package. I'm assuming because they're shipping internationally. I know that it's really a pain to ship things like nail polish, but definitely go and check out their video because you can see these beautiful nail colors that they've designed, and I believe they're magnetic reactive nail polishes as well. So I'm gonna link their reveal video down in the description box. And I'm gonna double check to make sure that they will actually ship those polishes internationally. I'm assuming it could just be something a little bit more expensive. Maybe there's more red tape. So I'm going to put in a couple of questions to Lethal about my highlighter pump component and also about the shipping, if there are any restrictions on the nail polishes. And then if they update me, I will add something either in the description box or in a pinned comment to let you know the best, most updated info I have on that kind of stuff. Now, back to the eyeshadow. I think that the gray and silver cool toned eye was kind of a layup for me. So I was really challenging myself more on the red side to do this super intense red ombre style smoky eye. So I started with the lightest red in the palette and I built that around pretty much all over the transition area, blended up towards my brow, and I also smudged that a little bit on the lower lash line. Then I used the medium red in the palette and I packed that all over my lid so that we get a little bit of a fade from darker to lighter. And then I'm going to compound on that even more with this deep dark burgundy red matte shade, and I'm going to smudge that and pack it on super close to my lash line. So that way you truly get the deepest concentration of red towards the lashes, and then it seems to fade out with that ombre type of effect towards the edges of the eyeshadow. And then I'm going to do even one more to really drive home that look by taking the deepest matte shade from the gray side. I'm gonna smudge that really tight along the lash line and then go back and just blend everything. That way, when you have the very dark, dark, thin line on the edge there, it really drives home the ombre look. As you saw at the beginning of the tutorial, I do use a matte eye primer for all of my eye looks. I did not experience any staining from these red shadows. So I just wanted to mention that in case you're somebody that has struggled with that. I had absolutely zero staining on this red side, obviously on either side. My shadows wore beautifully. I cannot express to you how good this all matte lid looks in person. It truly looks velvety, is the best way I can describe it. Obviously, I love bright silver, so the gray smoky eye is pretty simple for me to enjoy. And the dark sparkly shade called Deborah is my favorite shade in the entire palette. I think it's so special. So pairing Deborah with that silvery shade, it's instant. I knew I was gonna like it. If I go back to this palette tomorrow, that's probably the combo that I'm gonna go back to again and again. It's just right in my wheelhouse. It makes me happy. But that does not take away at all from how gorgeously these red shadows performed on the lid. They don't look as impressive in swatch, in my opinion, as they do on the lid. And that's something that's really common for certain colors of eyeshadows, specifically red, specifically dark purples. Anything with that red pigment base in the shadow, it does tend to look what I would say is less impressive, maybe a little bit patchy, maybe a little bit dry in the swatches. But once it's on the eye, these are super high performing red shadows, in my opinion. You saw the gorgeous coverage that I got on my eyelid, and that just comes from building and layering those shadows, which these have done really well. And truly, that's not the case for all matte shadows. All matte shadows are not created equally. Sometimes they tend to blend each other away. And consistently, lethal matte shadows layer and blend together really nicely, in my experience. Look at that shade, Deborah. It's so pretty. That gorgeous deep slate base with a ton of sparkly, sparkly red shimmers throughout. I love it. Hands down, that's my favorite shade in the palette. I want to wear it tomorrow. All right, it's everybody's favorite time. It's palette comparison time, and these were the palettes that immediately popped into my head. You were probably thinking this one too. This is from Wicked Widow. It's the Crow palette, another IP collaboration. These are not as similar as I thought they were going to be. I was definitely missing some reds. Now, the reds that are in the Crow palette are quite similar to a few in the Dexter palette. Definitely a couple of dupe-worthy shades on the more neutral side, but in general, I would say these aren't one-to-one dupes by any means. However, if you combine the All That and Troublemaker palettes from ColourPop, you could get a pretty darn close dupe. Again, not exactly the same. We're a little bit off, especially on that very end couple of shades there. They're not quite the same, especially when you swatch them side by side. However, if you put these on the eye, these are going to turn out some very incredibly similar looks. So it makes sense why I'm so drawn to that gray half of the palette, because the ColourPop Troublemaker is one of my all-time favorites. In general, I feel like this is a really well done collection. Everything makes sense. It's definitely in line with not only specifics from the show, like this brush roll, the little evidence test tubes for the lip products that are very referential to the show, but that overall dark, mysterious vibe is captured really well in the shades that they chose. My personal favorite pieces from this collection are first and foremost the brush roll. Lethal does really, really beautiful, high quality brushes. They do tend to be more on the expensive side, but for me personally, I like investing in tools. It's something that I keep for many, many years. And I think that a brush set like this is a really good investment. And as far as the makeup goes, I love the dark passenger lip stain. It's such a beautiful, rich, vampy berry type of color. I think it looks really good on the lips, and I can see this looking great on a variety of different skin tones, even with a more toned down, very neutral type of makeup. I think this would just look great on just about anybody in just about any situation. So these are my two top picks from the collection. I would love to hear what you think. Are you interested? If you're a fan of the show, do you think that this collection did justice to the series? I always love to hear what you think about things too. So make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Correct me if Great job, Amanda. Great job. What am I trying to say? Do you know? Do you know? Because I don't know. I really like the color of this lip stain. Dark Passenger. It's gorgeous. I don't like the highlighter up close because you can see all the individual sparkles, but from afar, it looks really beautiful, I have to say. It's just up close when you can see all the individual little sparkle particles that I don't love. But from this distance, I feel like it actually looks really pretty nice. I like it a lot. I actually blow dried my hair, so it's not curly today because usually I just let it air dry. And I had to blow dry it because it was so cold here yesterday that I knew if I stepped outside, my hair was going to start to freeze. It was in the 20s, but with the wind chill, it felt like 14 degrees, which is about 60 degrees too low, in my opinion. I'm much more of a mid 70s type of gal, if you know what I mean. Excuse me. Right, rightio. Good job, Amanda. I'm gonna. What? Right, great. Good job. One thing about me, I love a sparkly silver eyeshadow. All day, every day, sparkly silver. Just a super metallic, shimmery, shiny little silver shade. Gets me going. Take that however you want. All right. Is that it? Did I do everything? I probably forgot something. Why doesn't this work? Am I just not smart enough? Hello? I feel like it's missing a part. I feel like it needs to have like a little straw thing that goes down. You know what I mean? Shouldn't there be a little straw thing connected to here? Mine's missing that. Is it like rolling around inside in here? I don't know. I'm gonna message them and see what's up with that because that's weird. That is weird. Thanks for watching. That's so cool. I really appreciate it, you know? There's so much stuff to watch on the internet. There's so many things that are fighting for your personal, individual attention at all times. And I think it's pretty amazing that you watched this video. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. I'll be here as long as you're here. How's that sound? You want to know why? I bet you already know. It's because I love your face. Have a great day. Bye.